Hello, everyone. Caren Glasser here, and welcome to the Little White Lie movement. I am so excited that you're here. I'm excited. My guest is sitting right next to me, and I'm going to be introducing her in just one moment. Before I do that, though, I'm going to make sure that she can be comfortable behind the scenes while I'm talking, because this is going to be a short little introduction. So first of all, I want to invite you to the movement. And when you are out there enjoying the movement, make sure you put the hashtag Little White Lie. Looks just like that, the hashtag Little White Lie, so that we know you're in the conversation. This is a movement where we are exploring all the different aspects of aging, no matter what age you're in. If it's 30, 40, 50, 60, and up, it doesn't really matter as long as you're comfortable in the skin that you're in and that it reflects the skin on the outside. So, without further ado, I'm really excited to introduce my guest today. Her name is Joie Garrity. She is the founder of 113 Branding, and she's a brand strategist, marketer, author, and speaker. Today, we're going to be answering the question, how are you going to show up in the world when the media is playing on your fears? Now, if you're here on replay, we're thrilled and delighted. Make sure you comment directly below there, because we're going to respond. We're going to make sure that you're loved, because we do love you, and we're thrilled that you're joining us even after the fact. If you're here on the show live, answer the question. We want to hear what you think. How are you going to show up in the world when the media plays on your fears? So Joie was handpicked by the ABC Studios president to launch the first multimedia startup business for the Walt Disney Company. She has worked in the entertainment industry for 15 plus years, and then when she decided to leave, she started her company, 113 Branding. We are so delighted to have her on with us because she knows stuff. She truly knows stuff. And so without further ado, Joie, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Caren. Thank you for having me. This is a great topic, by the way.
It is such a great topic, and we were having some technical difficulties, so I was a little distracted as I was getting ready to go live, and that's why I put you on the behind the scenes so that you could get comfortable back there while I was talking to the crowd. So we're really delighted that you're here, because we're going to be talking about this really important question about the media. So let's just jump right in. What do you think?
Well, I feel that there is some media out there that's just not keeping up with the times. Mm-hmm. And I posted not so long ago. I used to get like dozens and dozens of magazines still delivered, even though I do like the virtual. And I saw some of the covers, and I was going through it, and I was just like, I'm so deleting these magazines. I unsubscribed right away, because they had these very, I just feel like the girls are just getting younger. It's just crazy, even from when we were growing up, right? But they were so young playing dress up. And I was like, they're so out of touch of what's going on out there right now. And yet they're still, in essence, just pushing it out there. And it really took me back, and it really took a hard look at the media and where that was going right now.
So are we supposed to be paying attention to the media?
I don't know how we couldn't. I mean, right. It's just everywhere. I was just talking to someone this morning about last time I was down in LA, and how there's just billboards everywhere, especially up and down Sunset Boulevard, right? And there's just endless billboards. And I was telling them about how not living there, how I kind of forgot about it a little bit, about the billboards, but yet every billboard had like a TV, then there was like a perfume ad and this and that. So it really redefined for me how media is really around us. I mean, last time I'm traveling a lot for business right now, and last time I was at the airport, they just have monitors everywhere now. I mean, you can't sit anywhere in the airport, there not be a monitor. So of course, like, media is constantly, showing up everywhere we go.
And I personally have felt it, and I know we have an echo, and I apologize for that. Not sure what's going on, so we're going to try to pretend like we don't hear the echo and keep on going. As somebody who's on web TV all the time, it's really hard not to pay attention to the media. Oh, yeah. And that was part of this whole, I forgot to reveal. That was part of the whole thing here with this little white lie, is how am I going to show up on a web TV show, or how am I going to show up standing on a stage, or how am I going to show up anything if I look old? Mm. And it's really a challenge. And in the industry, it's really a challenge. So how did you deal with stuff like that as a woman in the industry, and you worked for a lot of studios? How did you deal with the whole, how are you supposed to show up every single day and be judged based upon what the media is telling us?
I don't think I deal with it very well. I don't know very many people in general that are in the media deal with it well, frankly. It's just something that you just with, and you certainly are reminded constantly about getting older, and there's a lot of ageism, and we see it even with the actors and actresses today. The last a few Academy Awards, anyone that watched them the last couple of years, you've seen more than one actress bring up the fact that it's hard to find a role for them when they pass a certain age, right? So it's really prevalent. I mean, it's incredibly prevalent. But here's the thing, though, Caren, that I found that why I feel like, that there seems to be a lack of being in touch out there, is that if you do not create content that people can see themselves in, that's relatable, then who are you creating content for after a while? Just what doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I agree. Nancy Ferrari says we're being spoon-fed by media constantly. You are so right, Joey. You are so right, Joey.
Yes, yeah, we certainly are. And we saw a lot of this. We see a lot of this going on too, in regards to even marketing images. So I was sharing with someone the other day how I was looking for older, more mature women marketing images, and how at first it was very hard for me to locate them so that I could create, different marketing out there. And when I did find them, I was ecstatic, So I was like, wow, real women, that look like, like you and I,
right,
that are walking through this world. And therefore we're creating more of an emotional connection out there because it's relatable. It's just going to be more relatable.
So Susan Jacobs says, the current is changing, I believe. Women of a certain age, that would, I guess, be us, are killing it. Woohoo! We're killing it. We're killing it. So, I kind of want to ask the question, are we too old to be doing what we're doing? Or no?
Well, I mean, listen, I get asked this question often from many, many, many clients, or just out there in the marketplace when I'm keynoting, etc. So this is a very prominent question right now. I always immediately say, no, absolutely not. We need to be heard and seen at every age, in every state of our journey, on every part of our journey, because this is how we're relatable. I personally think it's only through the expertise that takes a minute, right? And so what was happening is that, especially with the whole startups in Silicon Valley and that kind of thing, I feel like there was this kind of mythology or, point of view that was going out there. If you're not this age, how can you be part of, how we're moving forward in the future? And I'm just like, well, first of all, if you don't have expertise, and you only have one type of like-minded person that is running a company, or who are part of the crew of running the company, what do you think is going to happen after a while?
And that's a very fair question to ask. I mean, one of the reasons that I did what I did with this was really to make sure that I stayed on the straight and narrow and kept doing this regardless of what people said. And in fact, this whole thing has turned into a very interesting phenomena. I had somebody stop me on the street. I'm hearing that echo, and it's kind of throwing me off here. That said, I was at a farmer's market on Saturday. She pulled me over and she said, "Oh my gosh, I love your hair." And I was like, "Oh, that's really cool. That's really cool." And then she said, "How do you do that? How do you do that?"
Right.
And I kind of just wanted to say, well, I'm older than dirt. And that's what happens when you become older than dirt. But this is a constant reminder. It doesn't really matter what's on the outside. It matters how we show up, right?
Yeah, it is all about confidence, but it's also about finding our purpose.
Right.
right? And I feel like that a big part of my brand is encouraging women to step out of the shadows and stepping into the spotlight and shining really bright and, you know, sharing their unique point of views and being seen and being heard. This is how we create a fabric out there in community that's amazing and spectacular. It's magnificent, you know? And I feel that the ageism that's going on in media, that again is completely out of touch, in my opinion. The ageism that's going on even in, you know, politics, or it's going in, you know, it's really is kind of everywhere. That what they're missing the boat is that they're missing out on other people out there being relatable.
Right. Well, Joey, I mean, I don't know if it's a secret or not a secret. You're the one who pushed me into my spotlight. You know, I work with you. You are my marketing maven. I mean, you're the one who said you have to step into this. You have to step into your own power. And that whole thing about looking for images of people that are a little bit older, I don't know if it was for somebody else, but I know that was a challenge for my project as well. Finding images of women that were not your 20-year-old girls, right? Right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, but when I did, you know, when I was able to locate them, what a story that we were able to tell, right, Caren? And, you know, I was very inspired by you. You were on one of the virtual coffees that I do in my bigger Facebook group. And you were talking about the little white lie. And I'm like, that is so cool. Like, I'm like, that's awesome. And then you announced how you're like, I'm going to go gray. I'm going to do it publicly. I'm going to do it virtually. And I was like, bravo, sister, bravo to you. But what you really did is you got us all thinking. Mm-hmm. And you were asking us, so what's your little white lie? And I was just like, wow, okay, this really is part of the movement of the authenticity of you showing up virtually and showing us on your journey and sharing what it's like to go gray on your journey. And then us taking a harder look at ourselves and saying, what's our little white lie?
Right. And we're covering all sorts of topics. I mean, we're covering plastic surgery. We're covering technology. We had a great show last week on technology. We're covering media. We're going to be covering mortality. We're going to be covering ageism, all the different things that we address as we get older. And the movement is not about telling people how to be. It's telling people that you can be any way you want to be.
Right. And that's actually what's going to set you apart out in the marketplace. Right. So what I find to be very important about this movement is that by you asking and listen, this is a hard hitting question, by the way. Mm-hmm. Like, what is your little white lie? I mean, that's a hard hitting question, but by making people think and redefining, and let me tell you, there's not a day that goes by that I'm not thinking about my little white lies.
Right.
Right. You know, I'm not thinking about, am I going to do plastic surgery someday? You know, I've never done Botox, but there's like Botox commercials that are running like every 2 seconds right now. I don't know what's going on with that, but that's a big trend again right now. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, when I go shopping, what stores I go into, you know, and how is that redefining me? Or am I going to just keep going to the stores that I love, which I do anyways. I do just keep going to the stores I love. I don't care who they're selling to because I like trends, right?
Right. And I understand what you're saying. I think, how about our audience? I mean, do you resonate with what Joey's saying? Are you going to stop going into those stores that you love to go into because somehow you think that maybe it's the wrong age for you? Are you going to do things differently because the media is telling you that you can't do that anymore? Put your thoughts down there. We really want to know. Joey and I are going to be coming back over there and responding. And again, if you're here on replay, we love you. Make sure you put your comments in there as well. Before we start to wind down, I want to make sure people know how to get in touch with Joey. They can go to 113 Branding. I just put the link up on the page. We got
Susan's like, hell no.
Hell no. Okay.
I agree, Susan. I agree, sister.
I agree with her too. She's an amazing image stylist, and I'm putting her. Hell no. There you go. I love it. But you know, go check out Joey.
Yeah, you know, people can also find me on Facebook, and I have a group called Branding for Professional Business Women that, you know, is very lively. That's incredibly interactive. You know, Caren, something I do want to say is that this is what I've done for myself, and this is the intention I've set for myself in order to get past some of these hurdles, right, of getting older and the media and the kind of fear that that literally this is a strategy of theirs. Okay, so this isn't by accident. They literally sit down. They're like, how can we pour some more salt into the fear model of getting older? Okay, for women. So what I've done is I've done what, I have canceled every single magazine. Like, I will not let one magazine cover or magazine show up to my home anymore. Absolutely. I've also gone as far as to like setting my intention of what I read and where I'm going online virtually and where I'm getting that kind of feedback and news from, and then, to be frank with you, I only watch HBO and Showtime and things like that. I don't watch any of the local channels anymore. So that might feel very extreme to some people out there, but because I was so indoctrinated into the media, and it's taken me several years to own my confidence, to love myself the way I am, because it really can get in your head and into your spirit, right? About you're not good enough, you're not skinny enough, you're not thin, and you're not young enough. ...
Mm-hmm. Do you think
that I've taken some drastic actions?
And that it seems drastic, but I don't think it's that drastic. Do you think that we as individuals can change the culture out there? Can I change the culture? Can you change the culture? Can all of us who are out there with this message of ignore the media, not ignore the media, but be smart. Think about what really works for you. Can we make change is what I want to know. Do you think we can make change?
Yeah, through our influence, but together as a community, it all comes down to influence, because bottom line is that our dollar matters. How we're spending our dollar matters. Yep. You might, maybe one person like myself just saying, I will no longer have these magazines come to my home. Maybe that doesn't seem like a lot to someone out there, but when it becomes a bigger of a triple, like a wave effect out there in the community, we can send a message. I'm like, if you do not start putting people that look like someone that I can relate to in a magazine, I will no longer purchase or buy that, which is all sold by ads. And so it becomes a statement that we're making. And let me tell you, Coach does not want us to make that. They do not want us not to purchase these magazines where their ads are in it. Right. Michael Kors does not want us to do this, and Calvin Klein does not want us to do this. And here's something else too, and then I'll get off this box for a second, but but recently I posted about a window dressing I saw. I won't name the brand, but it was in downtown San Francisco, and behind it said, behind a 1,000 plus outfit, and you couldn't really read the words because the outfit was covering up the statement, but it said, we should all be feminist. And what it said to me is, this brand thinks that this is a trend that we're in right now. Good that point. If they leverage that trend, that I'm going to walk into that store. And what I said to myself is, these are empty calories that you are trying to sell me right now. And not only will I not walk into your store, but I will never purchase another garment from you again. Now, again, I'm just one person, but but my statement online was, this is not a trend.
No.
We are not going away.
Right. And we're not fluff
and you're not going to put us back in the shadows.
Exactly. And this is not a fluff piece. And that was one of the conversations I remember you and I having way back when we started talking about how we were going to market this, is that I didn't want to be a fluff piece. I didn't want to be just a thought that just what people said, oh, it's about coloring her hair. She's got white hair. Big deal. It's not a big deal. And that is, I think what you're talking to, this is not, we're not going away. The movement is not going away. The Little White Lie movement, the getting older movement, we are not going away. We've got Nancy Ferrari. Nope.
That's right, Nancy. Nope. We're not going anywhere. And here's the thing, though, if we're more mindful about where we put our dollars and cents, you'd be surprised of how fast that people on the other side of the media who aren't taking this seriously will take us very seriously.
Amen, amen, and amen. So if you want to get in touch with Joey Garrity, which I know you do, she's my go-to person. You want to check her out, 113branding.com. And while you're at it, go over to thelittlewhitelie.com and answer the question either here in the post or on the blog post that's going to come out next week, all about this conversation. Answer the question about how you're going to show up in the world when media is playing on all of your fears. Do you have fears? Are they playing on your fears? And how are you going to show up? Joey, any last words before we say goodbye to everyone?
No, I just want to thank you, Caren, because it really does take courage to step into our spotlight, but it takes even more courage to make a statement like you are right now, and not just make a statement, but get behind it 110%. So thank you for having me on your show.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you for getting me focused, quite frankly. I really appreciate it. And I appreciate all of you out there. Know that you have a choice as to how to spend your time. Thank you for spending it with us. We'll see you next week on the next Little White Lie. Goodbye, everyone.